Hi everybody, I just finished my dinner. We had turkey chili tonight. It was delicious. Hopefully you're having a really good day. My cheeks are a bit rosy because I jacked up the heat. It's pretty hot in here, I'm not gonna lie. I like my house really cold, especially for sleeping, but I wanted to log on, see if anyone has any questions. I am ready to answer, so please ask away. Hopefully you'll join me soon. I know sometimes it takes a little bit of a time, but hopefully also you saw my video that I posted earlier today just on fat burning tips and how we really truly need to be in a caloric deficit. If you've missed it, please go back and watch it. I've had a few questions from both Priscilla and also Jen C. And Jen was asking me more of like getting on a tracker, having a written out workout, something of that nature. And I'll do my best to get that up and running soon. Obviously I have a lot going on this week, but that doesn't matter. That's what I'm here for. That's why I asked. And then Priscilla was talking a little bit more about labels. So if you're not somebody that actually actively reads the labels of your nutrition and you know, everything from a box of crackers to obviously how much protein would be in certain things, and if there's any added ingredients, antibodies, chemicals, stuff like that, I would highly encourage you to do that. So I'm going to touch base on that for a few minutes here. When you're looking at the back of any label, what you want to make sure that you're depicting or calculating is your serving size. So for instance, something might not look like it is very bad for you, but then you actually realize that it's like 1/8 of a serving has, even if it's, you know, 3 or 4 grams of sugar, but you're actually eating or consuming probably triple that, double that, maybe quadruple that. So please be cautious of that serving size. It's super, super important. One other thing I wanted to mention, that if certain items have, and this is, I think it's also the same way in Canada, but if you're in the US and certain portions of what you're eating is like 5 grams or less in sugar, they can actually report that as 0 sugar. So yes, I know 5 grams is not really that much, but at the same time, it still has sugar. So you really want to be cautious of that too. And having said that, I mean, some things that are calculated or advertised as having 0 sugar are actually 0 sugar. So it's very hit or miss, but that's the rules with FDA, and it's obviously all a selling tactic. The other thing I want to talk about labels, other than just the serving size, is also to watch for things that are advertised as gluten-free, sugar-free, stuff like that, because generally speaking, they're probably packed with ingredients that you can't pronounce, and therefore it's not good for you. So even though it might say, you know, diet on the label or gluten-free or sugar-free, it's probably, you know, maybe it's sweetened with aspartame, which is the worst thing on the planet. If you're somebody that's ever drank, you know, diet soda in the past, it's time to X that out of your diet. If you're still drinking it, honestly, it's cancer causing. It's horrible for your immune system. It actually breaks like your organs and everything down in the worst way possible. It destroys your immunity system. And honestly, it's actually redundant. It's so frustrating for me to know that people think that Diet Coke or diet this or diet that is healthier for you. It's actually the opposite. Yes, it doesn't have, you know, it's not jam-packed with sugar like a can of Coke would be, or Sprite or 7-Up or whatever the heck you're drinking, ginger ale, you name it, but it's aspartame, which is a chemical, and it's cancer causing. It's not natural, the end. So just don't drink it, cut it out. If you're looking for an alternative, there's Arbonne Fizz. Yes, it doesn't taste like Coca-Cola, but at the same token, it's got flavor to it. It's got B vitamins in there. Green tea extract, which will really help to up your metabolism and keep you alert. Plus there's a little bit of fizz in there, so it'll satisfy whatever craving that you may have. Or your best alternative, of course, is water. So if you can cut that out, I would recommend it. When you're reading the labels, other than, you know, the serving sizes and making sure that it's not falsely advertised, you want to take a look at the ingredients. If you can't pronounce the first, you know, within the first 5 ingredients, if you can't pronounce 1 or 2 of those ingredients, then it's not healthy for you. Like, especially if the first ingredient is sugar, that basically means that, you know, 70%, 60%, whatever you want to call it, of whatever product you're consuming is packed with sugar. Sugar is basically the worst thing for you. It's addicting. It makes you feel good for a certain amount of time, and then it's going to cause you to gain a whole bunch of weight. It spikes your insulin levels, which is again another huge reason why people get diabetes, and we do not want to go there. So be careful with things of that nature. And then you'll notice, like, if it's like xylitol, or like, I can't even pronounce half of the stuff. because it's not natural, and you should be very cautious of that, because that means that your body also is receiving something that's not like pure and, you know, from nature. So your body doesn't know what to do with it. And guess what it's going to do? It's going to store it as fat. So be cautious of that as well. And then the only other thing you need to be conscious of that we've talked about 100 times before would be the protein. I've coached you on this. Like, you need two things to survive, one being water, the second being protein. So you want to really, you know, aim to get, say, 30 to 35, even 40 grams of protein with your dinner or your meals if you are somebody that eats lunch and breakfast. And then if you're having snacks, it should be anywhere between, you know, 8 to 10 grams of protein. I would recommend that because it's going to keep you satiated longer. So take a look at that. You also want to take a look at the carbohydrates and the fats. When you get to the fat source, if you are looking at saturated versus unsaturated, clearly you want unsaturated fat. Saturated means that it's just, again, it's not healthy for you. So things that are like deep fried and not good for you. You'll notice if you read like the back of a label of chips, there's going to be a lot more saturated fat than unsaturated. There are certain, hi Pepper. There are certain fats that are of course good for you, like the omega-3s that come in flaxseed or chia seeds, fish, avocado, absolutely. But just be cautious of that. And it should have a decent ratio. It shouldn't just be like bam in your face. It's like 100 grams of fat and then it's only like 20 grams of carbohydrates and like 10 grams of protein. Obviously that's not a balanced meal. It's not going to fill you up. It's not going to do anything. It's other than spike your insulin level, which causes you to store fat. So just try to look for a good ratio. Obviously, we prefer the ratio of protein to be higher than the carbohydrates and the fat sources. So just be cautious of that. Come here, Pat. Okay, so hopefully that helps in terms of label reading. Priscilla, I don't know if you're, oh, you are here. Yes, so no sugar. Stevia would be the only thing if needed, something for a sweetener, or honey. Like, look for stuff that's actually natural in nature. There are other natural sweeteners, like agave syrup is another one I can think of. Like honey is a really good option. But yeah, anything that's refined sugar or added sugars, you don't want that. It's just basically a fancy way of saying it's, you know, white sugar that is a chemical that you're putting into your body, and your body doesn't know what the heck to do with sugar other than store it. Okay, and it spikes everything, and it's just not a good situation. So be cautious of that 100%. What about monk fruit? I don't even know what monk fruit is. Sorry, Anna, I have no idea. If you're talking about just a fruit in general, fruit is completely different, because fruit is actually natural occurring sugars. People confuse that all the time. Fruit is a carbohydrate, just like vegetables are a carbohydrate. And if you are going to be somebody that consumes fruit, and if weight loss is something that you're looking at doing, I would recommend consuming your fruit earlier in the day. When you start to consume natural occurring sugars and fruit closer to the evening time, they start to ferment in your stomach. And then if you're going to bed shortly thereafter, you're going to have a hard time digesting it. So I highly recommend, once again, just use the regular rule of thumb, even the same thing with your coffee, and take your caffeine 3 o'clock and before. And I do recommend berries. I recommend green apples. There are certain fruits, of course, that are higher in sugars than other, but there are a lot of benefits to eating fruit. And so many people have been sort of traumatized when it comes to eating fruit, which is ridiculous, because your body needs fruits and vegetables 100%. It's good for fiber. It's good actually if you have a sweet tooth craving. Some other really cute tip is to freeze some bananas inside of like some almond butter or peanut butter. It's such a cute little snack, but it's delicious. It satisfies your cravings. If you're craving something like even dark chocolate, you can melt dark chocolate, put inside a banana that's frozen, pop them in the freezer, I should say, and then it's just a really good snack. But yeah, I would say like for things like melons and, you know, guava, stuff of that nature, I would kind of steer a little bit away from those at this point. If weight loss is your goal, stick to blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, stuff like that is probably my first choice. I love bananas, especially if I'm making a protein shake just for the thickness. So don't be afraid of that. And then in addition to that, another really good thing is papaya. It's actually got some really great digestive enzymes in it, which can help break down, again, all the stuff that you are eating. So if you have access to some fresh papaya, I would get that in my diet all day long, okay? Pineapple is another really good one. I don't know if you like pineapple on your pizza, but I do. Anyway, so yeah. Let's see. Yeah, xylitol and yeah, they are. I don't know, Priscilla. It just depends like what you're eating and what that's sweetened with. Like I would have to look at the specific item. I mean, I would say at any point in time, if you can use a natural sugar over anything else, a natural sweetener, like Sweet and Low is a hard no for me. That's an aspartame. But there's certain things like even the stevia packages, they sometimes taste chemically to me, and I can't stand that. And plus, you guys know I like my stuff black anyway. So the only added sugars that I have would be if I'm having, something chocolate, or even if I'm having some cereal, usually there's some added sugars to that just to make it taste good, but it's very minimal. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Hi, Holly. Happy Wednesday to you too, girl. Yeah, so we're just talking about labels. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions, but I just wanted to make sure that you all saw those fat burning tips. And if you missed it, please go back and listen to it. And one other thing I wanted to talk about too is just the previous Pavlovian conditioning, which is basically your mindset around trying to avoid cravings. And I know, I'm not sure if some of you saw, Kaylin was responding to, how she doesn't allow herself to go there. And then I'm not saying this happens, but in my past, when I was denying whatever craving that I did have, it would end up being like 10 times worse when I finally gave into it. And that's the thing, like you want to make sure that you're keeping, your calories in count, but you also don't want to deny those cravings, because at the end of the day, most people will actually suffer from that. So focus on having a well-nourished meal, well-balanced meal, protein, carbs, or fats, or, maybe a combination of all the three. The thing is, again, in my video today, you need to be in a caloric deficit, and some people respond very, very differently to having multiple meals and snacks every day. So 5 to 6 snacks or meals, if you will. And other people respond really, really well to, say, a fasting protocol where you're having basically one meal and a couple of snacks. And then you're fasted with no, food or any type of calories before that. So you're going to have to play around with that a little bit, and you need to give yourself some time to adapt to it. So the right amount of time, I would say, would be anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. And you might not see results right in the beginning, because you have to think about how long is it taking you if you are somebody that wants to lose weight. And I go back to my own story. Like I was gaining weight probably for 2.5 years before I actually started fasting. And within like a month or so, when I actually, removed the ridiculous stress from my life, I started to lose weight. So it took me 2.5 years to gain it. And then it took me, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks of hard work to reduce it and to get rid of it. So just give your body time. I know that's really frustrating, but we're such beings of wanting the now, and we want the information now, and we want to see results now. And that's not always the case. Some people will see results right away because they adapt to it better. So don't get discouraged. Just stay the course. If you're trying out like a new eating protocol, just give it like 4 to 6 weeks. See what happens. If it's not working for you, we can either touch base or switch it up. Maybe you have to go to, eating breakfast. Maybe you have to go to having another snack, or maybe not having the snack. Just focus again, like I said, on making sure that on a weekly basis, you are in a caloric deficit, because that's really what's going to make the difference. And by the way, you can also get in a caloric deficit by moving more. So even if you're not somebody that, feels like you're eating a lot and you can't lose weight, you've hit a plateau, whatever the case is, you just simply need to move more. You need to walk more. You need to do heavier weights. You need to strength train more. You maybe need to add some cardio in there. So it's a fine balance. And again, it's constantly changing. So as we age, everything changes, everything, multiplies, and everything progresses. So we have to be willing to adapt to that. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. The caloric intake on a day for an average woman, the problem is I don't really know what's considered average, especially now since we all seem to be very trapped in our homes, sitting at a freaking desk, working from home, blah, 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 blah. So I would say at this time in age, like somebody that's, between their 30s and their 40s, maybe even a little bit older, like 30 to 45, let's say, or 30 to 50, you'd be looking anywhere between like 1,800 calories to 2,200 calories, depending on your activity level. And I'm not someone that's ever really preached, counting calories, because I just find that it's very obsessive behavior, and it kind of creates the wrong mindset. But however, it's super important if you're wanting to lose weight. You need to look at what you're eating, the serving sizes on those labels, how many grams of protein you're getting. Are you full? Are you not full? Changing it up if you need to. And I know it's frustrating, but it's like, it all boils down to how bad you want it. It does. And, I've talked about making excuses 100 times before, but we can do that all day long. And if you want it bad enough, you're going to figure it out. And I want to help you in every way, shape, or form. So hopefully, some of these tips that we're talking about and little things that we're learning along the way are really going to help you in your weight loss journey, or even in your health journey. Because I know there's some ladies in this group, they don't want to lose weight. They want to get stronger. And that's the focus. Like, I don't want you to always just focus on, I need to lose weight. I need to lose pounds. You need to focus on getting stronger mentally, stronger physically. And that will all fall into place, because when we have more lean muscle on our bodies, guess what happens? You burn calories more efficiently. You're going to have less fat sticking around, and that's all in relation to strength training. So hopefully you guys hear that loud and clear. I know there's some cardio junkies out there, but at the same token, strength training is super important, especially for women with our bone density and everything changing, especially as we go into our 40s, menopause, whatever you want to talk about. So please be cautious of that, okay? Hi, Mary Beth. So does anyone have any other questions? We were talking labels, we're talking sugar, we're talking pepper. Holidays, I know they're up and coming. I'll just touch on this briefly. They are vastly approaching. I cannot believe that today is, I don't even know, the 17th. I have no idea. 18th? Anybody? I don't know. Here's the thing. This Christmas is very different probably for a lot of us than normal. Like, we're not, going to other people's Christmas parties and gathering in big, large settings where you have all of that, peer pressure to not, or to eat bad things or to drink alcohol or whatever the case is. And if you are somebody that's still going out and doing some of those things with family and whatnot, just practice self-control. But again, if you are craving the turkey dinner, if you're craving, I don't know, whatever you guys eat for Christmas dinner, pie or whatever, just make sure that for that whole week time span that you are in a caloric deficit and you enjoy that meal. Like, you deserve it. And do a workout before and drink tons of water. Like, the thing is, ladies, the more that we deny how the certain pleasures that we have in life, if you're trying to avoid certain things that you love eating, it's only going to battle you in the wrong way. And I'm not giving you an excuse or a green light to go out and have pizza, 3-4 times a night, or a week, I should say. I'm giving you the green light to really make conscious decisions and efforts to, be in a caloric deficit, still enjoy whatever you want to enjoy, but don't make it consistent every night. Make it maybe 1 time a week, or maybe 2 at maximum if you are feeling for sure that you are in a caloric deficit. So if you have an off day, don't worry about it. You can get right back on track the next day. Just drink, like I said, a ton of water, stay hydrated, maybe get some B vitamins in you to help you digest the carbs, the proteins, the fats, so you're not feeling so bloated. I actually read something, I think it was yesterday, called a life hack, that if you had a really large meal, apparently if you go in the shower and let the hot water hit your lower back, you're going to get rid of your bloated stomach. I'm definitely trying that the next time, just saying. But just, when you're going into these Christmas dinners, just enjoy yourself. I mean, you ladies have worked really hard for the last, 63 days, and you deserve it. It's time to, enjoy your families and do as best as you can to enjoy your Christmas time. And don't let food ruin the way you're feeling, because it's not worth it. One meal it's not going to make a difference as long as you're staying on track. And I know you'll get right back on the horse the next day. And if you can at all get a movement in the day before or the day of, I would highly suggest that, because then that way you're burning more calories efficiently, especially even after your workout. Okay, good job. Thanks, Mary Beth. It's the 17th. Thanks, Priscilla. So I think that's it. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions. Just like I said before, if you missed that fat burning tip video, please go back and watch it. And if you missed the first part of this, go back and watch it too, because I'm talking a little bit more about labels on request by Priscilla. I should have some physical trackers, ladies, that you can print out, whether it be a food tracker or a workout tracker, something of that nature, by the end of the week is my goal. So I think that's it. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this program, and I'm really actually already planning a Christmas Eve workout. So hopefully you'll join me. If not, I completely and totally understand. But guess what? You're like my family now, and I love seeing each and every single one of you and hearing from you on a daily basis. So keep up the awesome work. Have a great night. Maybe have a relaxing cup of tea. That's what I'm about to do. I just had my chili, so I'm going to have some peppermint tea and just unwind for the evening. It's been a heck of a day. It was posted today, Holly, the fat burning video. Okay, so it's okay, no worries. And other than that, ladies, have an awesome evening. I'm sure I'll see you again. Live workout on Saturday. I'm probably going to do both. I'm trying to still honor the people that don't necessarily want to jump on Zoom. So I'm probably gonna try my absolute best to go live in the group and also live on Zoom. So hopefully, ladies, you have an awesome evening. And yes, cinnamon is the best thing ever in the world. It's my favorite spice. Have an awesome evening, ladies. See you later.